Hey guys, what's up? OGX Ferrari here. We're going to be breaking down the review of WCL Week 1. So, all in all, it was a pretty nice week for WCL. Lots of good games that were streamed. There was some really interesting lineups that were picked that I saw, some close games, and certainly some teams that played very well, and I'm sure it will surprise some of you to how they played. And I'm sure some of you will be like, some of you will notice that these teams, you kind of expected them to be where they are, and that's fine. That's kind of how it is. So also, I would just like to say any questions you have about WCL at all, please ask them in the comments. I will answer them to the best of my ability, obviously as a moderator and as a streamer. So any questions at all, guys, just ask them, please. So I'm just going to start with the streams a little bit, how some of the games went over the weekend. So the first game, I'm just going to kind of go over what some of the other streamers and kind of what they observed. So we had some close games between AVM and Gur82. They had really intense battles. The last game that was the deciding factor was on a bounce. It came down to a 2v2. They were fighting for the last match, and all it came down to was the bounce off of rear end of an IS-7 that lost the game. So that was definitely a close game, and that is on Gucci Mane's Twitch. You guys can watch that game if you so desire. And just moving on to the next game that was pretty big, was pretty well known by most people as BKC versus RNC. Both games were, the games were really close. Both teams played very well. It came down to a 3-2 win for RNC. I know both teams really wanted the win. Both teams have, kind of played with each other in the past. So that was very nice to see how that played. And it's always good to see teams play close games. It always makes for good entertainment. And that was streamed by Catholic. You can watch that on YouTube. And, oh boy, some of the games I streamed were interesting. So, UTA versus LGN. LGN's a pretty new team. They both played very well, and it was pretty It was pretty sad to see LGN have to play a 6v7 for the last game. They could have won. It happens. It is what it is. And don't worry, guys. We'll get to KMD versus NB in a second. That was by far the most interesting game I've ever seen in my life. So we'll move on to that in a couple minutes. So next was Devil versus NL, and that was NL picked a lineup that will give me nightmares for years. For those of you who are not aware, NL decided that they wanted to pick 4 Waffentrigger E100s, 2 Death Stars, and a Batchat. Now, I don't know about any of you, but on Ghost Town, that is very scary when you peek a corner and get one shot. That is never fun. And NL did remain victorious in that game, so that was interesting. And that is on my YouTube as well. And now moving on to KMD versus NB. So both of these teams, this game in this bracket was huge. These teams are arguably the best two in the bracket, and they played each other. And the first game on Ghost Town, both teams were tied 1-1, and NB pulled the biggest turtle I've ever seen in my life with 4 T57 heavies, 2 E4s, and a Batchat. So that was really, I looked at that turtle on stream and I said that there's no way you can beat that. And KMD ended up victorious, so that was really nice to see how they cracked a turtle. And it was a really nice game to watch. It is long, though. There was a lot of draws. It ends up to about 1 hour and 46 minutes. If anyone wants to watch it, that's on my YouTube channel. So that was really interesting as well. So now moving on to the standings in each division. We have from East A, we have AM, or Arty Magnets, currently leading that bracket with 36 Panzer behind. And that 36 Panzer was actually an interesting game because they only had 5 kills throughout their series, and they won 3-0. So they capped out, and they were successfully able to do it 3 times in a row, which is really interesting because that's kind of a rarity. I'm not really sure how that happened. I don't think it was streamed. I really wish it was, though. That would be nice. So moving to the next division in East B, we have Immortals and TD. Now both of these teams are actually perfectly tied across the board, so that's rare. So we moved to kills death ratio and match win percentage so that those draws won't happen. and both teams won 3-0, 21 kills, 2 deaths. So both teams are literally perfectly tied. Obviously, that will change as the weeks progress. Obviously, they're going to play each other at some point. That's not going to be, obviously, they're not both going to be 21-2 forever. So that's, nice to see. But it is nice to see that two teams are competing for that top spot, and that's going to make a good game to watch. Moving on to EC, we have NS currently leading the division. However, Crypt, not to be confused with Corruption, are, pretty close tied. NS and Crypt both had 3-0 wins, and they both had 21 kills. However, NS had 1 death compared to Crypt's 3. But the nice thing about this is this game is going to be streamed, or is going to play this weekend. I really hope it's streamed. I think this game will be pretty nice to see because whoever wins this game is pretty set for the rest of the season. Whoever wins and if they win pretty well, then they'll have the dominant lead for the rest of the week. So, moving on to East E, we have GDABR as the current leader in the division, with NFTG being in second place by a very small margin. These two teams again are going to play each other this weekend, so that's actually really nice in East E, because it's always nice to see when you have two teams early on, like really close to each other, and then they play each other, and then one team kind of gains the momentum and they continue it through the season. So that's interesting. Oh, I skipped East E. I'm an idiot, guys. I can't read my own list. What do you figure? NL in East D is currently the leader, with Ready 5 being the runner-up. However, NL had a very successful first week, so it's possible Ready 5 could close the gap as the season progresses. It's just too early to tell. It is only 1 week, guys, so unless a team has like a ridiculous standing early on, it's most likely going to change. Keep that in mind. And East F was actually really interesting. So shout out to DP. East F won. They're leading their division with 21 kills but no deaths. They didn't lose a single tank across all 3 games. And thus far, no team has done that yet, in this list at least. And G Kill is the runner-up with 21 kills and 7 deaths, and they are also they're a second division. From East G, we have Panda, currently the leader, having 15 kills and no deaths, 100% win percentage, of course. And 8-Bits also is doing pretty well with 21 kills and a death. So these teams, as they play each other in the future, is going to really decide the bracket, or the division rather. So in this division, so far we have Panda and 8-Bits, who are really the strongest teams that have at least been played yet. And when these two teams play each other, it's really gonna, it's really gonna make a decider for the rest of the season, I think. And I think hopefully it is streamed. Big Slice, so I said EC. Yes, I did say EC. I'm just moving along here talking about it. How did you miss the meme game? I'm just catching up on chat. If any of you guys did miss the meme game, I do have it on YouTube. It is very interesting. I believe King Bako's in the Death Star, back to the NL game, and I think he one-shotted 2 people. So that's nice. So getting into the Europe divisions, we have UP currently leading with a 21 KDR. So they lost 1 tank, and they played the rest very solidly. And we also have Hun and Squad, both 3-0 wins. So as these two teams progress through the season, it's going to be very interesting. So as these two teams progress, it's going to be very interesting because they're all 3-0 right now, and that's obviously not going to happen as time progresses. You can't have 3 teams remain undefeated. It just doesn't work like that. And actually, UP and Hun play each other this weekend, so that's definitely a match I hope gets streamed. If I can stream it, I certainly will. And, I think that 3 teams 3-0 is always nice because that means that the teams are kind of close together, and that's always a nice thing to see. Big Slice, can I go back? I'm not really sure where I left off, my guy, so yeah, you're unfortunate out of there. So Hanek and UNL If I'm pronouncing that wrong, please do not hesitate to correct me, guys. I'm not the brightest bulb when it comes to pronunciation, so, let me know. They both actually won to a forfeit. So, not including forfeits, Fost is winning 100% of their matches with a 1.9 KDR. And this forces the future of the bracket to be hazy because two teams have won two forfeits. So that means that it's really difficult to project what's going to happen because we don't know how the teams would have played. So that makes it difficult. Now, however, UNL and Fost do play each other this weekend. So, that should kind of clear up any haze that we have right now. Hopefully we see some results that make things really interesting, some close games, some good games, some memes. I certainly want to see some arty plays. That's always fun to watch someone get one shot. In years past, everyone always likes to use arty. I don't know why, but it's used. So from Euro C, we have CDR is leading the bracket with a 3-0 win, 21 KDR. It's kill death ratio for those of you guys who, aren't those Call of Duty tryhards. And next we have, I don't know how really to say either haha or HUHUH, but they also won 3-0, but their KD is lower, being 2.83. So these two teams, if once they play each other, will kind of be decider of the bracket, the division rather. I'm going to keep saying bracket. I mean division. I'm just slow, so don't worry about it. So I think that all these, so far we've seen a lot of teams that are really close together, and that's really nice to see. It's nice to see, that comparatively to like 2 years ago with WCL1, WCT3, you kind of had the same teams always dominating, and now we don't really have that anymore. There's a lot more teams kind of neck and neck, and that's really nice. It's nice to see. So in Euro D, Yaga is the special team. They have the only team so far to not lose a match. And FEBR is the runner-up with a win 3-2. And so far, Yaga has actually had a really good start to the season. And CDRX is supposed to be a contender. However, they haven't played yet, so we'll see how the division solidifies as time moves forward. And Yaga and FEBR do play this weekend, so those two teams should kind of grow a gap after this weekend because they're going to obviously split. So, moving on to Euro E, this is the division, guys. So, BSU and Russ are currently 100% match wins. However, BSU sneaks past Russ with one less death. They're just able to just hop on the front. And as of now, Leash has yet to play. But once they do play, you can expect that BSU and Russ's will have an increased win rate and kill death ratio when they play Leash. From what I've heard, Leash is a bunch of sheep. I'm kidding, guys. I'm pretty good friends with the guys in Leash, so I figured I'd give them, a little bit of, trash. All in good fun, though, guys. So, next we have A14. So, A14 won to a forfeit. So, that's kind of hard to say how they'll play in the future. They do play this weekend, and we'll see how they do indeed play. But as of now, it's kind of hard because, as I've said previously, when you have forfeits, it's kind of difficult to judge, or bye weeks. So FLC and UTA are close behind. However, FLC, I don't know where I got that, guys. Oof, man. FLC has a KDR of 1.588, while UTA has a KDR of 1.21, and they do play each other this weekend. So right here, guys, we're going to see a little bit of a spread happen. We're going to see some changes, and once FLC and UTA play each other, we can kind of see how the bracket goes and how the other teams kind of mesh. But once FLC and UTA happens, we'll kind of see, where URF kind of going to lie in terms of, spreading. So from URG, we have Corruption leading their division with the valiant efforts of the graphics designer Frazzle Fallout. He makes really good logos, guys. Wink, wink. And they won 3-0 with a 3.5 KDR. And OWS is running behind them with a 3-1 lead and a 1.85 KDR. So OWS and Corruption, I think, are going to be pretty good. A pretty good, match. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I really hope to be able to stream it. They will not be played this weekend, but hopefully, I'll get to do it when the time does come. So moving on to the West, we have NFTG. They're the second team to be winning their division. They have 21 kills and no deaths. That's the second team to do that. No one else has done that yet. And don't worry, I'll catch up chat in a week, by the way. And they won 3-1, and actually RTDR is behind NFTG with a 3-1 as well, but they have a less KD of obviously being 4.2. You can't have 20, like 4.2 is obviously less than 21, and PZR is following RTDR by only 3 extra match deaths. So this should be an interesting series on the West A division because all the teams are really close, and I think that will be fun to watch. So from West B, we have N is currently leading the division, and I think as of now, N is in a really solid position. So RNC is the next highest team, and they have a 3-2 win with a 1.1 KDR, whereas N has an 8 KDR. So I think as of now, N is a really solid position to win this division. I haven't really said that much, but I think that N right now is really solid, and they started really strong. So shout out to them; they did a really good job. And I just want to check chat. Remember, guys, feel free to ask away on questions. I have a lot to catch up on in the chat. Obviously, you guys like to spam. My thoughts on NA and U teams. Let me get back to that big slice. I'm just gonna catch up. Please ban streamer toxic. Yes, very toxic, but only on nobodies. It's okay, guys. So my opinion on leading NA and U teams. I think that the blur of Clantax. There's a lot of Clantax TV. So for NA teams, I think from the East, we're gonna see a really. I mean, it's kind of hard to project, but knowing rosters and such, I think AM and 36 Panzer are going to be kind of leading that. AM might pull ahead. It's kind of early. Really, the only team that I think, like the only bracket I think I can see a really big lead is in East F with DP or in East D with NL. So NL and DP are kind of ahead of everyone else, and that leaves them in a really solid position. If they can just beat that second place team, they'll be set and ready to go. It's hard to tell because every team has a bloop week, every team has a bad week. It happens. Even the pros mess up. So anything can happen really. All it takes is the first and second place team to get thrown off, and things can change. Now from Europe, I think we have a lot of interesting teams here. So in Euro E, we have Leash, BSU, and Russ, who are all up there competing. Well, I think Leash will be pretty well. They have the valiant efforts of Little Ryan. I'm just kidding. He's terrible. I know him, that's why. But I think BSU and Russ is going to be really good games. I think that's going to be really enjoyable to watch. BSU and Russ is going to be really fun. And from Euro A, I think Up has a really good chance of remaining dominant. And I think from Euro B, I mean, we could see it's kind of difficult because, UNL and Hanak both won to forfeit, so it's hard to say how they'll play in the future. It's not like I can pull out my crystal ball and, read what's gonna happen. I wish I could, but I can't. It's not something I can do. So we also have Crypt and maybe Corruption and maybe PLHUS who can make a solid appearance. It just really depends on, again, how the first and second place teams play, because all it takes is that little lead and they'll get ahead. On West, Big Slice, I think NFTG, RTDR, and N are going to be the 3 really, good things. TVD, I don't have a crystal ball. Get out of here. Banned from chat. Tanks, I've always known. I didn't just find that out. So, I'm just going to kind of give you guys the streamer schedules for this weekend as well, so you can kind of have that in your head. We have I'm streaming CDR versus 1312 at 1700 UTC, which is 1 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So Gucci Mane is streaming Leash and Russ, and Devil and 47 Ronin. So those Gucci has some really nice games. I think you guys should definitely tune into Gucci. Leash and Russ and Devil and 47 Ronin should be really nice to see. And now we have Catholic, who again on Saturday is streaming UNL and Fost at 1700 UTC. NS versus Corruption, NS versus Crypt. My bad. I had another blooper, guys. Is at 1800 UTC, and 1-4 DP versus BKC at 1900 UTC. So just to give a comment, NS versus Crypt is that game that's going to really decide that division. So if NS pulls ahead of Crypt, I think NS is in a really strong position to just win that division. And if Crypt does, then they're in a solid position. UNL and Foss is going to be nice because UNL is the team that did not have any like concrete wins because they just won from a forfeit, and Foss is the leading team. So depending on the outcome of that game, it could decide the division, you know, depending on how UNL plays. And 1-4 DP and BKC, now these teams are actually really good friends. In Discord, I saw that BKC and 1-4 DP were kind of hesitant. They were like, oh, we don't want to win, but we want to win. So I think that'll be a fun game to see. It's always nice to see good friends play each other. And there's always some good banter in there. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Especially, you know, two teams that are relatively close in skill. It's not going to be a blowout. So I think that's going to be nice. Big Slice, I did mess up. I'm sorry. I'm not perfect. It is an honor to be called Corruption, though. I mean, it is, dude. Corruption has Frazzle, and Frazzle does really good work on logos. And, you know, and they have a really nice environment of a team. They've been around a while. Kanza Crew or Ding Fan. Kanza Crew. Oh my god, guys. Alright. So the first week of WCL was pretty nicely done. You know, it was definitely wicked fun to stream. If any of you guys want your matches streamed, do not hesitate to PM myself. I know I'm always up to stream any day of the week, really. Monday through Friday, Sunday to Thursday has to be before like 9 though, 9 Eastern. I can't do anything longer than that, anything later than that rather. And you know, because I have school, so I can't really do that. Still a young boy. And you know, Gucci and Catholic both are active streamers, so you can also message them if you want your time streamed later in the night. As for the games that are close, I think so week 1 of WCL is really good. There's a lot of teams that have kind of emerged, and they've really proven that the game competitively is growing. At least the teams are, you know, there's new teams coming up, there's new teams learning how to play, new teams really making an appearance, and that's always, you know, really nice to see. However, the one sad thing is this season there has been a lot of dropouts. So as I've said, that there's been a lot of forfeits, and there's actually been a lot of teams replaced as well. So a lot of teams had to drop out, which I don't know about old WCLs, but I know that we were talking about how this has more dropouts than most WCLs and WCTs in the past. They were easily able to be replaced, but that being said, I think, you know, it is kind of sad to see. So we've seen a lot more competitive teams grow and see a lot more teams kind of make it into the place where they can fight for top spots in divisions. But it is sad to see teams have to drop out because they can't field the team or they have other obligations. Thoughts on teams will go pretty far? It's kind of hard to say because I don't know what teams are going to seed where in the playoffs. So it's kind of difficult to say who will be where. That's really projecting. I mean, I don't really want to make a prediction that isn't really based on any facts on WCL. It's more based on external knowledge. So I don't really want to make that assumption. So about 5% dropout is normal. Apparently, getting some facts checked here, guys. Thoughts on next week map for Dukla? I think Dukla's not going to be a bad map. I think you guys are kind of overreacting, honestly. As a caller, I'd say the game of rotations is going to win. Personally, I think turtling is going to be really hard because there's just too many angles. Yeah, I agree, Big Slice. I think most teams are going to run a medium lineup because of the rotations you can make. Dwarf banned for being toxic, dude. Why are you guys asking for predictions? I'm not like a prophet. I can't be like, my crystal ball says that little Ryan is terrible. That is true, but it certainly is not crystal ball worthy. So all in all, I think this is going to be a really good season of WCL. We have so many teams that are come up, and we have so many close fights. A lot of teams are like they're all starting. A lot of teams are starting 3-0 or 3-1, and that's really nice to see. And I think that as the season progresses, we're going to start to see some teams that kind of spread off, and those are going to be the games you want to watch. Predict boy chat demands. Oh, you're gonna make me have to think, dude. So if it works out, I think based on rosters and performance, I think NS, Immortals, TD, and gonna have to make me really think. I don't like this. And DP have a chance of really going far on the NA side, excluding West. I kind of just did that in East. I'll do West, and then from EU, I think as of now it's so hard because there's so many teams. I think it's gonna be up with Exoa, one of my Russian friends. It's hard. I'm not going to make too many predictions in Europe. A lot of teams kind of had to drop out, so it's kind of difficult. And I think from the West server, we have NFTG and N, who are going to really make a solid appearance. RTDR as well. They've played really well. It's been a pleasure to see them grow. It's nice to see new teams emerge like that. I know they have some pretty good players, so it's always good to see that happen. Yo, what's up, Horizon? I think we need more waffle strats. I don't want to see any more. I don't want to see anything more than 2 waffles, guys. All right, if I see that, I'm going to be very disappointed in all of you. Please do not do that. Ever. So I was just notified. Just an FYI, and what's best to say? All right. So HN and their second team actually are in the same division. So let's go look at that. So HN and N are teams that are sister clans. I'm being told. So that's actually really unfortunate because when you have to play your number 1 team and your sister teams, it's difficult because you know how each player plays, you know how to counter. So I think it's going to be interesting to see brother against brother. Dwarf Band tanks do it. I want to see 7 Type 5 heavies. If anyone does 7 Type 5 heavies, I'll be really happy about that. Exoa, what's up, my guy? And now we're going to do a giveaway. So I have a few codes. I'm only going to give away 1, though, just because I love you all. All right, so let me just get this code up. And for the I don't know what the phrase is, the giveaway phrases, I just want you to do exclamation point waffle spam. All right, so that's exclamation point waffle, as in a Belgian waffle or the Waffentrager, spam. And that will be the giveaway. So that's exclamation point waffle spam, guys. Let me find the code really quick. I have to go through my PMs. It's a mess. I'm a mess, guys. Just school, Discord, streams. It's just a big mess. So for any WCL staff watching, you obviously cannot win. Unfortunately, I will not allow you to win as WCL staff. So sorry about that. So I'll give you guys a minute. And if there's any other questions about WCL, guys, please do not hesitate to ask, all right? Seriously. And projecting really far ahead into the future, looking at some of the rounds, later on the season is going to be really nice, I think. I think late season is going to be really nice. We're going to see war teams, we're going to see those heartbreaking games where one team, 2 teams are really close and one team just kind of passes ahead. And that's always heartbreaking, but it does provide for some good entertainment. So it is what it is. How does the scoring system works? Do you mean by the WCL scoring system? You're asking the scoring for WCL, like the what I've just listed, right? As in the KD and everything. So how that's supposed to work is because teams in the past have actually had the same number of wins and losses, they've had to introduce a new metric to make sure that doesn't happen. So the odds that a team has the same number of kills, same number of deaths, same number of wins, same number of losses is much, 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 much less than someone just having the same number of wins and same number of losses. So that's why it's like it is now. It's just to eliminate ties. We don't really want that to happen because it is a pain to have to deal with. All right, so that's kind of why we do that. All right. All right, let me just recheck the chat here. There's so much. So, how the system will decide who's going to win the division? Well, the division is just based off of. So in Pat's list that he posted, it is pretty. What's the word? He made it. It's not the easiest to follow. So let me just pull it up really quick. I accidentally closed it because I can't follow what I'm going to do. You know. So at the top, really the most important things are. Like the kills, deaths, match. So the M percentage, if you have the list, is basically match win percentage. So a lot like match losses, match wins, kills, deaths. That stuff's all going to be factored into how teams play. You know, I wouldn't try to overthink it. You know, try to just have the least amount of deaths as you can and the most amount of kills. So that's kind of better to have like a high amount of kills, low amount of deaths than just capping a lot. Also, the seedings work. So the way that the division works is the number one team from each division moves on to playoffs, and the second place team, from my understanding of the rules, goes into wild card teams in order of regular season record. So the teams that have the best record throughout the season will be placed in a higher seed. So you want to be placed in a higher seed. You know, it's kind of what you want. And also, the higher seeded team has home field advantage. They get to pick either home server or our first map and first spawn. So that's wicked. It's really important, guys. You know, having the best record as you possibly can is definitely something you want to do. Staffs will make WCL great. Well, thanks, Big Slice. Like, you guys you supporting us really means a lot. Like, it takes a lot of work to do this. You know, I spent a few hours making sure just the stream works. Imagine what it takes for the whole season. It does take a lot, you know. No prizes? I know, I haven't given them out yet. Just give me a second. I was trying to answer someone's question about WCL, alright? Alright, so the winner of the giveaway is Z71_T. Let me just whisper to you. Actually, my whisper is broken, so let me just at you. So Z71T, can you please PM me? I'm gonna give him a few minutes. If and let's say 3 minutes he doesn't respond, well, I'll move on. I don't know what his gamer tag is, so it's hard to, you know, reach out to him. Rigged, you're just mad because you lost Cryptics. It happens. Can't always win. Come on, guys. Random number generators can't be rigged. All right, get out of here. I hope that answered your question. You answered your questions, Simonka. If you have any more, please let me know what's up. And oh yeah, Conkeys. No teams get eliminated until the group stage is over. That's it's kind of changed since WCT in the old days, because this is more of a league style event than a tournament. So teams obviously aren't going to get dropped in the beginning. I think it'll make things interesting, but it also would decrease the longevity of the tournament. Z71T. I'm going to try to message you, and if you don't get back to me, So I just PM'd him. If he doesn't get back to me, I will move on. Yep, okay, Z71T, there you are. I was kind of worried. That's what Wargaming says about RNG is rigged, minus rep. I don't think so. You always see Mercy low rolls. Okay. Yeah, it's your alt account. I doubt it. I'm just gonna get his gamer tag. Oh, Z71 transporter. All right. Thank you. Here is your code, my friend. If you don't know how to redeem it, you go to console.worldoftanks.com. You sign in the top right corner, and you click on your name once you're signed in. Little thing will pop down, and it will say activate bonus code. Take that and you paste it in, and that is how you activate that. So nothing too complicated. Let me just put your name on the list. I try to not have anyone win twice, so now you're not winning again. Sorry, but oh well. Thanks for tuning in, dude. That's pretty much nothing else to say unless anyone's got a question. That was kind of the weekend review. Just make sure you tune into the streams, guys. Keep track of the streamer schedule on Discord. I will update mine. If you want any game stream, please don't hesitate to message me. Catholic's going to try to stream a lot of games like he did this weekend, and Gucci is trying to get some more streams as well. So all of us are open to stream games, guys. Do not hesitate. Dwarf, stop being toxic. And with that being said, oh boy, I really want to thank all of you for tuning in. I don't see any more questions popping up, so if you kind of think of something after the fact the stream ends, message me in Discord and I will answer your questions. And thanks for watching. If you know anyone who missed this stream, just have them. This will be posted on YouTube in a couple hours, and I know that it will be shared in the WCL server. You can also PM me in Discord to answer any questions. You can ask me to stream your matches. I'm open to that. It's going to be mainly first come, first serve unless someone's from my division that wants a game streamed. So other than that, I want to thank you all and have a great night and see you on the battlefield, my guys.